Hello everybody, this is Skyflight44, aka Zect44, and today I'm going to be playing some Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist Link Evolution. Now this is my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Game I've ever played. It has some flaws, but each and every single one of these games do! However, the big thing for me is my favorite thing to do is play not with other people, usually. But I like playing single player. I really do. I like playing against the computer, usually because it lowers the difficulty substantially that I can actually play with different decks. Because I'm a fan of jank, and I'm a fan of playing with cards that don't work well. So, I have attempted to go through and um, basically in the last couple of years learn about this game. I've been playing it all my life, but I've definitely only really been like getting really into it the last couple of years. And holy shit, there's over fucking 11,000 cards, and there's fucking 10,000 over 10,000 cards in this game. I don't even know half of what they do, and I don't know what a lot of archetypes do. So, this is what I want to go about doing with this game. In the campaign, we have 6 different campaigns. I believe there's like 32, 32, 32, somewhere between like 28, 26, and again like 28, 26, 28, 26 missions. There's also a bunch of duelist challenges. Once you go about finishing off like the last time you've beaten a duelist every single way you can, you unlock them in a duelist challenge. Once you actually get their duelist challenge, they have a usually different deck and a substantially better deck. Like, let's say Bones has a zombie deck reflective of his deck and at least the spirit of his deck from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters anime. And his duelist challenge is Demise. Fantastic. So, I want to go through and get 100% campaign completion, which means beating every single duel, both perspectives, because you can play each one in both perspectives. I also want to go about completing each and every single duelist challenge, and I want to go through and make 32 decks. Each of them different than the deck I've made, because I'm also playing this on my own, upstairs on my laptop, completely different save file. And I already have like 14 different decks, and I've been playing for about, I don't know, like 70 hours in the last month and a half. But having fun, no reason not to. I'm just going to show you exactly what kind of deck I have right now. There is, for starter decks, a basic structure deck, a fusion one, a synchro one, an Xyz one, a pendulum one. If you have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, well, guess what? There are plenty of... There's definitely be plenty of times for you to learn. Because guess what? This game actually does one thing Yu-Gi-Oh! Has for the longest fucking time never done, and it's about to piss me off, and this is another reason why I love this game so much. This game teaches you how to play the game. Like, no shit, actually teaches you how to play the game. Before, Yu-Gi-Oh! Games fully expected you to know how to play the game. There wasn't a single Yu-Gi-Oh! Video game that didn't already think that you knew at least how to play the game or was at least familiar with the anime. Those were the only ways you were going to go about buying this game. There was no other way you were going to. Now, they definitely have the opportunity because of all these different card games around, and also different video games that have done well. They definitely can go through and benefit from having a game that teaches you how to play the game. That's another reason why I love playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Video game is I don't need to completely understand each and every little rule, and I don't have to remember, like, everything. Because the game in itself is going to go about knowing when things can happen, if there's a mandatory effect, that it goes into place and nothing gets forgotten. Okay, so let's just look at the deck I have. I tried doing this like a week ago, and I made a deck that was or comprised each and every single summoning mechanic with the first set of cards that you get. This time I've made a control deck, which is a little bit interesting. There's only a few different like major monsters in it. Like it's mainly just about destroying your opponent's monsters and spell and traps as much as you can. And there really isn't much else outside of maybe a few big monsters, like Grab a Crush Dragon, which is one tribute, Break of the Dark Magical Warrior, another one tribute, and Elector Sovereign of Birds, which is another one tribute monster. Outside of that, there is different ways of going into several different synchros and Xyz monsters, in which the only real there isn't too much utility in them outside of Castel, the Sky Blaster, Musketeer. I do believe which one was it? Celestial Wolf Lord, Sirius. When this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, it loses 2400 attack, and that is permanent. So, let's look at some of the cards I have. Adhesive Explosive gets destroyed. It's going to destroy my opponent. Elector Sovereign of Birds. If your opponent controls two or more face-up monsters with the same attribute, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, you can target one face-up card on the field. That target's effects are negated during this turn. That's pretty cool. Armored Bee. I looked at this and I thought to myself, I'm making a control deck. So technically, this is the entire reason why this deck's a thing. Armored Bee. Once per turn, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Have that target's attack until the end phase. Therefore, this basically states, you have blue eyes? That's nice. Armored Bee. Normal summon? I'm going to battle right over it. Blast Sphere, same thing. Is Adhesive Explosive, except this one is the standby phase, your opponent's next standby phase. I think this one is your yeah, this one's also opponent's next standby phase. Break of the Dark Magical Warrior is basically like Break of the Magical Warrior, except it is a when you have to be tribute summoned. So place when it's normal summoned, place 2 spell counters on it. If this card is pendulum summoned, I'll get to that later. Place 3 spell counters on it. Gains 400 attack for each spell counter on it. You can remove 1 spell counter from this card, then destroy 1 spell or trap on the field. You can only use effect of it once per turn. And Break of the Magical Warrior is basically the same thing, except it can only have 1 spell counter on it, and when you go through and use it, or normal summon it, you throw 1 spell counter on it. Also, it gains 300 attack power, so it's a 1900, or you can get a 1600 beat stick, and also destroy 1 spell and trap. Copycat is another sort of pseudo, like removal spell. Because I can go about normal summoning this, or even special summoning it. I target one of my opponent's face-up monsters, and it becomes the same attack and defense. If it's in attack mode, I can just crash right into it with Copycat, and it's gone. Explode a dragon if it's destroyed by battle. Destroy my opponent's. Destroy the monster that destroyed it. Also, neither player takes any battle damage from attacks involving this card, which means I can just send this son of a bitch right in and destroy my opponent's monster. Fencing Fire Ferret. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, destroy that target, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Gale Lizard. Flip. Target one monster your opponent controls, return that target to the hand. That's possibly even worse than destruction. Gravicrush Dragon's a little bit different. You send one face-up continuous spell you control to the graveyard, and then target one monster your opponent controls, destroy that target. And because of that, I have Swords of Concealing Light. I'll explain that later. Banner of Courage, 2 of them, and Supply Squad. I really wish this said continuous spell or trap, because I also have a few Call of the Haunted I would really love to be able to use. Man-eater bug, flip, target one monster on the field, destroy it. Though, do note that isn't just your opponent's, so if you, opponent doesn't have anything, don't fucking flip this. The Tricky is just a way of discarding one card, being able to special summon it, therefore, if your opponent has anything, not very useful, you can just go about, summoning this and being able to attack. Antwerp Barrel Dragon. This is sort of one. When it's summoned, target one card your opponent controls, toss a coin twice, and if that resolves 2 heads, destroy it. So 25% chance. So the cards I completely skipped are Clock Resonator, a tuner. Once per turn, this face-up defense position monster cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. And Dark Tinker. When this card you control is sent to the graveyard, look at the top card of your deck. Return that card to either the top or bottom of the deck. So these are my tuner cards that I'm going to need in order to get into a synchro. I'll go without explaining that later, but they kind of... This one specifically is very useful. This one is sort of useful. And they're mainly to get me into Celestial Wolf Lord Blue Sirius, especially with the Dark Tinker, considering how many 4 stars I have. And Clock Resonator can get me into a 4-star with different, or a 6 with different options. Mainly the Adhesive Explosive, and maybe the Man-Eater Bug and the Copycat. But it's not really meant to do that. It's really meant to go into Scrap Archfiend, which is just a 2700. Outside of that, we have 2 Banner of Courage. All monsters you control gain 200 attack during your battle phase only. Because of the types of monsters we have, having these things are fairly useful because we are running, for the most part, some lower attack point monsters. The only ones that are big are really Breaker the Magical Warrior, the Twin Barrel Dragon, and Fencing Fire Ferret. And then other than that, it's basically tribute monsters that we have. Dark Hole gets rid of everything. All monsters on the field. Enemy Controller, considering exactly the fact that I have a bunch of monsters, not necessarily the best. I can use Enemy Controller to tribute one monster, then target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Take control of that target until the end phase. I can use that, and then probably just go through and sack it off for maybe like Breaker the Dark Magical Warrior, or my Gravicrush Dragon, or even hell, Elector. We also have a Fissure, just destroys one face-up monster your opponent controls with the lowest attack. Supply Squad is actually fairly interesting. Once per turn, if a monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, draw 1 card. There are several monsters that we're just basically going to be putting in defense mode to destroy our opponent's monsters, and therefore Supply Squad is just gonna get us some more cards. Swords of Concealing Light, on the other hand, is also really cool. So when this card resolves, change all monsters your opponent controls to face-down defense position. Monsters your opponent controls cannot change their battle positions. Therefore, you can wreak havoc. Swords of Revealing Light. That is a classic. So this basically stops your opponent from basically attacking you for 3 turns. Also, when it's on use, it flips up all of your opponent's monsters. Twister, pay 500 life points and target one face-up spell trap in the field. Destroy that target! We have 3 Call of Haunted, brings a monster back from your graveyard in attack position. Dust Tornado takes a spell or trap out from your opponent's side. If your opponent uses a spell card, Magic Jammer can negate it. And Michizure is one of the standouts of this deck, in which we have when a monster is sent from the field to your graveyard, even during the damage step, target one monster on the field, destroy it. So with Michizure, we can have even like throwing an Exploder Dragon into our opponent, or again, just allowing, or even a Copycat into our opponent, and both of them getting destroyed, also destroying our opponent's monster, or a Man-Eater Bug getting destroyed. Or technically, even Blast Sphere and Adhesive Sphere would go from our field to our from the field to our graveyard. Therefore, as soon as that happens, we can use Michizure to destroy another monster our opponent controls. Then a Mirror Force. That's classic. And Raigeki Break. So, that is our first deck. Now, let's get right into it. There are 6 different campaigns, and I am not going to be completing them in order. I am going to be completing them kind of, not necessarily in any order, but I'm going to be playing, for the most part, all of them at the same time. Let's learn how to play the game. Okay, so this is off of the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. And I don't really care to go through these. I generally tend just to skip them. Mainly just because I kind of already played this before several times. And I just prefer watching it. So yeah, good. I was wondering when I was going to go. So again, this is one of the more interesting things I know of this game specifically. It teaches you how to play a game. So, what is it going to tell us to do? I am but a meek, unintelligent, and ignorant kid. How do I learn how to play this game? So first, let's learn how to summon a monster. Monsters are summoned into the monster zone. Monsters can be summoned in attack position or set to the monster zone in defense position. A monster in attack position is placed vertically, and a monster in defense position is placed horizontally and face down. Okay, so we're going to set the dragon dwelling in the cave. Then we can go to end phase, which is going to end our turn. Okay, so Blazing Apache is going to go about attacking us. Okay, so we have survived our first attack. And yes, Joey has attacked us and wound up hurting himself. So, when a monster attacks a defense position monster, the attacker's attack value is compared to the defender's defense value. If the attacking monster has a lower value, the attacker's owner takes damage equal to the difference. The attacking monster has a greater value, the defending monster is destroyed. Okay, so we can go about playing a spell and trap. So these cards are played into the spell and trap zone, which are below the monster zone. Green spell cards can be played right away, but most can only be played on your main phase. You can also set it and activate it at a later time. We can use Banner of Courage. I've already explained what that does. Pink trap cards can be activated on your turn and during your opponent's turn, but you must set them face down on your field first. You cannot activate a trap in the same turn that you set it, but you can activate it at any time after the start of your opponent's turn. What I love most about this game, or Yu-Gi-Oh, not necessarily Link Evolution, but Yu-Gi-Oh in general, I love the fact that there's face-down cards. I love the fact that you can just set a card, and then your opponent has to start thinking, what do they have? What are they using? What is he going to do? And the mind games you can do. Because hell, even if you don't have any option, you can just set down a spell card that you can't use. And your opponent might start thinking it's a trap. So, we can switch this to attack. And we can summon Ninkendog in attack position. So, we can do that. Okay. Now we can go into battle phase because that Banner of Courage, everything is increased by 200. Okay, so we can attack with directly with Dragon Dwelling in the Cave, and it'll deal damage equal to its attack value. And Joey doesn't stand a chance. And yes, we will clean his clock. On this turn, we will summon another monster. Up until now, you've only used monsters level 4 or below. In order to summon a monster that is level 5 or 6, you must tribute one monster. Sending a monster on your side of the field to the graveyard to summon a high-level monster is called a tribute summon. Or if you just follow the Japanese anime, advanced summon. Let's tribute summon, grab Crush Dragon. Okay. Why does it have to be Ninkendog? Okay. If you read the card description on the left there, you can see your Grab Crush Dragon has an effect you can trigger. I already explained it. Let's go about using it. We can send Banner of Courage away to destroy our opponent's monster. We can chain the effect of Call the Haunted to bring back Ninkendog. Okay, and we can chain yet again with our Rush Recklessly. Rush Recklessly is a quick play spell. Therefore, during our turn, we can go about using this straight from our hand to in a chain. And we can also go through and if it's set, we can basically use it like a trap card against our opponent. Okay, so now we can go about attacking and completely destroying Joey. Okay. Yeah, that is a much more interesting duel than what they had in the original. So we can skip that, and now let's actually go after. Let's go about playing that as a normal duel, see if we can go about winning. Hell, let's not just do that. Let's go about using our deck. So we got a new campaign. So Yu-Gi-Oh! The Heart of the Cards is something we can go about doing. I don't really care about the deck avatars, and we do get plenty of deck recipes. We also got Axe Raider, Furious Sea King, and 4-starred Ladybug of Doom. When you go about beating an actual mission or a duel, you get... If you lose, you get 1 card out of your opponent's deck. If you win, you get 3. So these are some cards that our opponent had. Let me get some duel points. So let's go... Damn it. I didn't press that as so we're gonna be quitting. Then we're gonna be trying this out as a regular duel. So we could use the story deck, or we can use our user decks, and we're going to be using our first deck. Now I am going to be going about changing this deck later on, mainly just because I'm going to want to actually play decks I want to play. But this is something for now. Interesting. So I'm going to... I really wish I had another monster. I don't necessarily just want to use Breaker. But I think I'm just gonna... I'm gonna set 2 a Michizori and a Mirror Force. Joey might have something to get rid of our back row, and I don't just want my Mirror Force being out there for no reason. No, I'll take it. Mirror Force, we could have used that to destroy his monster. But I think I'm going to go about saving it just in case. The only life point that really matters is the last one you have. So with Breaker, we can just beat over his Battle Ox. I don't want to go about using like just normal summoning Breaker because he might have had something to just destroy it. And if I kind of like having the ability to possibly destroy his back row. I'm gonna save my Swords of Revealing Light. I'm gonna attack into this. Yeah, that's what I thought. And he's gonna go about destroying it. Even if I had any, I don't really have any other way of doing that anyway. So we can go to main phase 2. I can set our Call of the Haunted. Now the big thing is, since it's not gonna be normal summoned, if I go about using Call of the Haunted. Technically, I could get rid of the Blazing Impachi with this. No, I'm not gonna deal with this. I'm just gonna let that go through. And we got Twin Barrel Dragon. Let's see how this is going. Now, if this is going to hit twice for heads, and it got a tails. It got 2 tails. Ooh, that is just lovely. So let's... Actually, I kind of wanted to use that. Let's go through and use Swords of Revealing Light. I don't really want to go through and use my Call of the Haunted just yet. I don't really need to. And the big thing is I do have a Mirror Force, so I don't really feel all that pressured whatsoever. I can set my Adhesive Explosive. Yeah, that doesn't matter to me. Send out all your monsters. Ooh, Brain Crusher. What does this do? Once per turn, during the end phase, this card is destroyed an opponent's monster by battle and sent to the graveyard this turn. While you controlled it, you can target one of those destroyed monsters and special summon it. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I dare you to go through and do that, dude. And another Call of the Haunted. That's cool. So, there's already 2 turns on Swords of Revealing Light, so I'm just gonna let it go. Yeah, special summon your monster. It's just a normal monster anyway. That's interesting. Oh, this This is cool. So I have a lovely... Actually, let's go through and use Call of the Haunted. We can bring back Breaker the Magic Warrior. And then we can use Dark Tinkerer. Yep, so we succeeded in normal summoning a monster. And now we can go through and synchro summon. So the big thing about synchro summoning is you need to have a tuner monster like Dark Tinkerer. It's always denoted by the lovely yellow number. And you need to, or the monsters used for a synchro summon need to be the exact combination of levels to make, or they have to add up to the level of the synchro monster. So with this, I have 2 and 4. I can make a 6. And look at that. Celestial Wolf Lord Blue Sirius is useful. We use that, and then we can use Breaker the Breaker the Magical Warrior. We can summon it. Dark Tinkerer. And no, not gonna chain that. Okay, so do I want another Michizure? I don't think I want another one. Damn it. I thought I was going to be able to... use Michizure. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm pretty sure Michizure missed timing there. Damn. I don't want to have to explain that shit. You can destroy Knight of the Red Lotus. See what this is. Ah, Kagemusha of the Blue Flame. That isn't very impressive whatsoever. Yeah, I'm not going to use Twister to destroy my own stuff. Ooh, look at that. Gorz, the Emissary of Darkness. What? Yeah, I'm getting rid of that. Ooh, that's cool. So, I'm gonna set Call of the Haunted. Yep. I am going to get rid of our Adhesive Explosive and Tribute Summon Grab-a-Crush Dragon. And let's just go. Let's go full force on Joey. He's gonna have no way of dealing with us. Down to 1,000 there, buddy. If I had set that freaking Call of the Haunted last turn, I would have won this time. We want 5 cards, 6 cards. You have to have something. Blazing Ampachi. Yeah. Michizure. At least we got something killed then. No, I'm not gonna do that. We can win just by beating him. Though, holy shit, he had fucking Gorz. Oh my god. So let's see. Snowman Eater, that's something good for what we have. Battle Warrior is useless. Kojikosi, I think that's how you pronounce that. That's something, I guess. Thing is, we don't actually have any, we can't buy cards just yet. So, we're just gonna have to continue on. So let's do the Heart of the Cards. And this is when Seto, you know, being a dick, goes through and tries to get that blue eyes. Yeah. Yugi's grandfather lost. And then Kaiba's just an asshole who rips the fucking card in his face. Yep. Yeah, built that deck. Not a very good deck, buddy. And Yami. We're going to be playing a lot against Yami. So, let's go with the story deck. We're always going to be using the story deck. We might be going through and, you know, trying to grind for some points. I might be doing some of that off screen. But we're going to be doing that with our user-made decks. The big thing is we have to use user-made decks, or at least decks that we have cards for the Duelist challenges. And Heart of the Underdog. I'm already liking this. Pun agreed. If luck is against me, and it's probably going to be, this is a Soggy the Dark Clown. If luck is for me, I'm probably going to have this is Wall of Illusion. I'll set Spellbinding Circle. I will play Heart of the Underdog. So, during our draw phase, when we draw a normal monster, you can reveal it, draw one more card. I got Snatch, Steal, Swords of Revealing Light, and Raigeki. I do not feel very... I don't feel like I'm in threat. Aquamador. Interesting. I do not remember him having this card. Oh, 2,000 defense point monster. That's pretty cool. And a Sword Stalker. So, yeah, I'm gonna use Spellbinding Circle on it. So it can attack or change its battle position. Oh, yeah. Giant Soldier of Stone. Let's draw another card. Karibo. Damn. Karibo, why did you have to be next? I wanted to draw at least one more card. I want to get into another Heart of the Underdog, because if we can get like 3 of these things, we're going to draw right through our deck no matter what. So, let's see. We can't get rid of this thing. And because I have Spellbinding Circle on it, the Snatch Stealing is a pointless effort. So I am going to set Giant Soldier of Stone, and we will go to next turn. Judgment. Oh, Rude Kaiser. Worse option. If that was a Judgment, he could go right through Giant Soldier of Stone. Okay, fine. Fine, I'll use Swords of Revealing Light. Next turn. Now, a lot of these... Doing the first campaign versus doing the third campaign versus doing the sixth. The sixth one's definitely a lot harder. I will set a Mammoth Graveyard. Dark Hole is really nice and powerful. And the more monsters he gets, the worse off it's going to be for him. And a second Dark Hole. Okay, I'll set one of these. Thing is, I'm just going to go with what the deck wants me to do. What is my win condition? Well, I can easily beat down my opponent if I really wanted to, but what do I really want to do? I want to get Exodia. Look at that. So already one piece, and we get a Sandgan. So I can summon Sandgan. Well, set Sandgan. I'm gonna keep my Swords of Revealing Light here. I'm just gonna allow him to go. Oof. That doesn't do anything to me, boy. Now with Sandgan, I can get a monster with 1500 attack or less. And the big thing I want to get is Exodia the Forbidden One. This gets a effect monster out of our deck, and therefore we're more likely to be able to get stuff with Heart of the Underdog. In reality, what he really should have done was go for Heart of the Underdog. But he didn't do that, because Seto is an idiot. With Pot of Greed, draw 2 cards. I can fetch Giant Soldier of Stone. I can... I'm gonna have to go through and use at least something else, so I might as well write Geki here. Yeah, I'm not gonna beat him down. Okay, what do we get? Ancient Lamp. Yeah, that would have been not fun. Well, we can set this for now. I'm still gonna have to discard a card, and it will be Torek. That is a very good card anyway. Ooh, and a third piece. And Heart of the Underdog. Ah, but you're screwed. Might as well summon Feral Imp. And actually deal some damage here. I don't actually know if I'm gonna get... Ooh, Shadow Spell. Yeah, that's nice. What I was going to say is I don't know if I'm going to get more points for beating him down without dealing damage to him, or while having like no damage dealt. Yeah, I'm going to use this Karibo. I'm going to discard it so I don't take any kind of damage. It's just sitting in my hand anyway. And a Sandgan. Oh, Sandgan. Well, I'm gonna set you. When this is sent from the field to the graveyard, we can go through and get something else. So now we can get the 4th piece of Exodia. And no blue eyes yet. Oh, yeah. So now we can draw 2. And we got it. Next card. Well, you just have to do it. You have to. At least once, you have to do this just by going and getting Exodia. Yeah. So we can go about beating Weevil next. Okay, so these are some decent cards. We obviously get signature card first time, so Blue Eyes White Dragon. We have Ancient Rules, which is nice, and Summoner's Art. We also have a bunch of points that we can go about spending. Why don't we spend some of them? We can see if there's anything good. Well, nothing was good. Nothing was good whatsoever. And this one, normally things cost 400 in order to be able to get, but this is just 200 Duelist points. Now, I'm going to attempt to not use any decks I've used previously, and I'm not going to be using decks I definitely have used in my other one. Therefore, Gravekeepers is not an option. Actually, to be honest, the last time I was trying to use I was trying to not use Gravekeepers, and I kind of got Necro Valley too early. I was like, yeah, we might do this, and if I got a second one by 200, I was definitely going to play it, and I got a second Necro Valley by 200. I was like, yay! Raging Flame Sprite, though, might be useful, as is Destruction Ring. We could run a burn deck already. We just didn't have enough burn cards. Hey, Sparks is a burn card. We also have a Link Monster and Mrs. Radiant. Again, not a lot of these ones are actually supposed to be good. Okay, Scrum Force. While you control 2 or more face-up defense position monsters, your opponent cannot target defense position monsters you control with card effects. You cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. This card would be destroyed by a card effect. You can destroy one monster in your spell, or one card in your spell and trap zone instead. That's cool. Raigeki's nice. I don't think I actually have this. The end of Anubis. While this card is face up in the field, all effects of spell, trap, and monster cards that target a card in the graveyard or activate in the graveyard are negated. Not so bad. It's also a 2,500 point tribute monster, which is something we don't actually have at the moment. UFO turtle. 2 UFO turtles. I like that. Skellingale is also pretty interesting. Flip and draw 1 card. So Cry Havoc, though, is the rare. You can remove from play 1 monster from your graveyard to normal summon or set 1 monster from your hand. We could make a normal monster deck, but I don't really want to at the moment. We got another Exodia card. I don't know if that is redundant or not. Mother Grizzly, not so bad. Though I don't really know. I use UFO Turtle a lot. Mainly because UFO Turtle works really well in a lot of the decks I make that try and go into Blaze Phoenix. The Burning Bombardment Bird, one of my favorite cards in the game. And another Skellingale. What else can I get? Little Chimera. Interesting. I was trying to remember exactly what the what monster did this effect for fire monsters, and I couldn't think of it. Interesting. Backup squad. Each time you take 1,000 or more damage by your opponent's card effect or their monster's attack, draw 1 card for every 1,000 damage you took. That could be useful. Definitely more useful if we actually can regain life points. Another leg of the or another piece of Exodia. And another piece of Exodia. Holy shit. We might only need... We definitely have at least 3 pieces. Ah, that's the card I don't have in my other my other profile. The Doolittle Chimera. So if we have this, we just need 2 fire monsters to link summon it. All fire monsters on the field gain 500 attack and defense. Also, all water monsters on the field lose 400 attack or defense. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target 1 fire monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Okay, Flying Kamakiri is interesting. I think we already have 2 of those, which means we have 3. And a bunch of cards that are only really useful in a Gravekeeper's deck. Exodia Necro. So, must be special summoned with contract with Exodia, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. Cannot be destroyed by battle or spell trap effect once per turn during your standby phase. This card gains 500 attack. Destroy this card unless all 5 of these cards are in your graveyard. Basically, every single Exodia card. Well, the main ones, anyway. Megamorph. Okay, so Megamorph. While your life points is lower than your opponent's, the equipped monster's attack becomes double its original attack. While your life points are higher, the equipped monster attack becomes half its original attack. Do note you can use this on your monsters or your opponents. So whether or not you have more or less life points doesn't really matter. Shining Angel is nice. Skill Drain is really nice. Especially if you're running normal monsters. Command Knight's pretty good. This can increase our warrior monsters. And I definitely use that quite frequently. Legendary Jujutsu Master is pretty cool. So if this defense position card, battle the monsters at the end of the damage step, place that monster on the top of the deck. So if you're, especially it's good if your monster, if your opponent tribute summoned and then attacked into you. Invader of the Darkness, not very interesting. I'm probably not going to go through and actually go through this booster again for a while. Again, it's just a lot of useless normal monsters. Okay, so Ultimate Offering, you're forbidden, so I can't use you. Okay, so we could go here and edit our deck. We had 149 cards that we could go about using. Now we have a lot more. The thing is, there are a few different cards that would actually be useful in here. Maybe 4-star Ladybug of Doom. This flip, destroy a level 4 monsters your opponent controls. Outside of that, out of everything I can think of, I don't really remember any other ones except for maybe Raigeki. Raigeki would definitely be something to throw in here. Yeah, we're already getting a bunch of Gravekeeper monsters. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be making another one of those decks, even though it is well within my person to make a deck like that. So I don't I have to have 2 right Armor the Forbidden Ones, which means I only have 3 of the 5 pieces of Exodia. Also, you can play without actually having you can play like normally without actually using the limited and forbidden list, which that one denotes you can only have 1 in a deck. Therefore, we could use 3. We could just be a horrible person and have 3 of each Exodia piece, but why would we have that? Ooh, Needle Sealing. That would be really cool to throw in this deck, especially considering the fact that fuck this Michizure. Now that I remember that it misses timing, and Needle Sealing is the better option. Especially with the ability to stall. When there are 4 more monsters on the field, destroy face-up monsters. And obviously we can take this fissure out for a Raigeki. Yep. Anything else? I see. The skill drain isn't good for me whatsoever in this deck. Yeah, that was about all I know. So I'm gonna end it there. Have fun, everybody. Next time, we're going to be going through quite a few more duels.